Hello everyone, you are on the channel History of the Ancient World. Today we're journeying back in time, not to the battlefields or the throne rooms, but to the heart of ancient societies, their festivals. Forget what you think you know about history, being all serious and stuffy. We're about to dive into the most epic parties the world has ever seen. These weren't just days off, they were vibrant, chaotic, and deeply meaningful events that held communities together. From the banks of the Nile to the hills of Rome, let's uncover the stories behind the greatest celebrations of antiquity. First stop, ancient Egypt and the Opet festival. Imagine this, the entire city of Thebes is buzzing. For nearly a month, a grand procession travels the 2 miles between the temples of Karnak and Luxor. The stars of the show are the sacred statues of the gods Amun, Mut and their son Khonsu. They're carried on golden boats, not on water, but on the shoulders of priests, through streets lined with cheering crowds. This wasn't just a religious parade, it was a massive public holiday. There was music, dancing, and feasting. People offered food and flowers to the gods, hoping for blessings in return. The Opet festival was a powerful symbol of the connection between the pharaoh, the gods, and the people. It was a yearly renewal of divine power, ensuring the fertility of the land and the stability of the kingdom. It was the ultimate expression of Egyptian faith and a spectacle of unimaginable scale. Now let's sail across the Mediterranean to ancient Greece, the cradle of drama and democracy. Here the biggest event on the calendar wasn't a military parade, but a festival dedicated to Dionysus, the god of wine, theatre and ecstasy, the city Dionysia in Athens. For 5 days, the city would shut down. Business stopped, legal cases were postponed, and even prisoners were temporarily released to join the festivities. The highlight was a massive theatre competition. Playwrights like Sophocles, Euripides, and Aeschylus would present their new tragedies and comedies. Citizens would watch plays from dawn till dusk, experiencing powerful emotions, from deep sorrow to riotous laughter. It was more than just entertainment. It was a civic duty and a form of public discourse. These plays explored complex themes of morality, justice, and human nature. The festival also included grand processions, choral performances, and of course plenty of wine. The Dionysia celebrated life in all its wild, chaotic, and beautiful forms. Next, we march on to the mighty Roman Empire. If you think we party hard today, you haven't seen anything like the Roman festival of Saturnalia. Originally a one-day affair in December, it became so popular it eventually stretched for a whole week. This was the ultimate social inversion. During Saturnalia, all rules were off. Work and business came to a halt. The courts were closed, wars were not declared. Most shockingly, masters would serve their slaves. Social hierarchies were completely turned upside down. At least for a little while. Homes were decorated with greenery, candles were lit to ward off darkness, and people exchanged gifts, often small clay figurines called sigillaria. It was a time of feasting, drinking, gambling, and general merrymaking. A king of Saturnalia was chosen in each household, often by lot, who would then give mock commands to the family. It was a time of freedom and chaos, a release valve for the strict Roman social order, and a celebration of a mythical golden age under the god Saturn. Sound familiar? Many of its traditions were later absorbed into Christmas celebrations. Let's venture further east to the Persian Empire, and the festival of Nowruz, which means New Day. This is one of the most ancient festivals still celebrated today by millions of people worldwide. Nowruz marks the spring equinox, the first day of spring. For ancient Persians, this was the new year, a powerful symbol of rebirth and renewal. Preparations would begin weeks in advance with a major spring cleaning of the home, symbolizing the removal of the old and the welcoming of the new. On the day itself, families would gather around a special table setting called the Haft-Sin, which includes 7 symbolic items, starting with the letter S in Persian, each representing a hope for the new year, like health, prosperity, and love. There were feasts, music, dancing, and public celebrations with bonfires and fireworks. Nowruz was and still is a celebration of nature's victory over the darkness of winter, a time for forgiveness and for starting fresh. From Persia, we travel to the Celtic world of ancient Britain and Ireland. Here the year was marked by 4 major fire festivals, and perhaps the most important was Samhain. Pronounced Samhain, this festival marked the end of the harvest season and the beginning of winter, the darker half of the year. The Celts believed that on the night of Samhain, the veil between our world and the other world was at its thinnest. This meant that spirits and fairies could more easily cross over into the land of the living. It was a time of both celebration and superstition. Large bonfires were lit to purify and protect, and people would often wear costumes and masks to disguise themselves from mischievous spirits. Feasts were held, and portions of the crops were left as offerings for the gods and the spirits of the ancestors. It was a time to honor the dead, but also to celebrate the community's survival through the harvest. Many of these traditions, like costumes and a focus on the supernatural, are clear ancestors of modern Halloween. Finally, let's journey to the Americas, to the heart of the Inca Empire in the Andes. Their most significant festival was the Inti Raymi, the Festival of the Sun. Held on the winter solstice in the southern hemisphere, this 9-day celebration honored the sun god Inti, who was considered the ancestor of the Inca emperors. The Sapa Inca himself would preside over the ceremonies in the capital city of Cusco. As the sun rose on the day of the festival, crowds would gather in the main plaza. There were colorful processions with mummified ancestors, ritual chanting, and grand feasts. The emperor would offer a toast to the sun with chicha, a fermented corn drink. Sacrifices, often of llamas, were made to ensure the sun's return and to guarantee a good harvest for the coming year. The Inti Raymi was a spectacular display of imperial power and religious devotion, reaffirming the divine connection between the sun, the emperor, and the Inca people. It was a plea for the sun to shorten its absence and return to warm the earth. So what can we learn from these ancient parties? These festivals were the lifeblood of their societies. They reinforced social bonds, expressed religious beliefs, and provided a much-needed escape from the hardships of daily life. They were moments when the entire community, from the king to the commoner, came together to celebrate their shared identity. They connected people to their gods, to the cycles of nature, and to each other. From the renewal of divine power in Egypt to the social role reversal in Rome, and the celebration of nature's rebirth in Persia. These events show us that throughout history, people have always found profound and creative ways to celebrate life. They remind us that history isn't just a sequence of dates and rulers. It's a vibrant tapestry woven with joy, community, and celebration. Thank you so much for joining us on this festive journey through the ancient world. What ancient festival would you have loved to attend? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe to History of the Ancient World for more adventures into the past. We'll see you in the next one.